Well, thank you, Noel. So can we turn to page 35? So the following pages 35 to 37 deal with the grant scope cost estimate instructions as well as the form. So now, Sam, can we go to page 37 to kind of take a quick gander at the form itself? Okay, Sam, let's go to page 35 so we can jump into the detailed instructions to how to complete this form. So the purpose of this form is to establish the grant scope for project deliverables for a phase that can be completed by March of 2025. Be sure to list recreation features and major support amenities that will be completed with the grant request by itself or the grant plus committed funds. Remember back when we reviewed pages 5 through 6 of this guide? Those are examples of recreation features and major support amenities, and these are the types of items we are looking for on the grant scope cost estimate form. Project deliverables used on the grant scope cost estimate are what the Office of Grants and Local Services, state auditors, and the public will expect to see upon final grant payment. Do not list future phases beyond what will be completed with the grant plus committed funds. So in the middle of the page, we're going to go over the directions for establishing the grant scope. So you're going to want to use one of the phrases described in the 3 bullets on page 35 for each recreation feature or major support amenity, beginning with either acquire, approximately, construct a new blank, or the 3rd bullet is renovate a blank, depending on your project scope. So the last 2 bullets provide phrases for lighting and landscaping that will be throughout the park if costs are greater than $50,000 and are not specific to a recreation feature or major support amenity. Please turn to page 36. The box on top of the page explains not to list minor support amenities. Fold those costs into a recreation feature or major support amenity. This gives you flexibility to construct or not construct a minor support amenity, such as a sign or a bench, etc. So now can we now go to the cost estimate charts beginning on page 50, Sam? So these are the eligible cost charts, and Sam will just slowly scroll through these. And so while you don't want to get into this level of detail, these are costs that are eligible for reimbursements and should be folded into a recreation feature or major support amenities. In the chart on page 51, you'll note that up to 25% of the grant amount can be used for pre-construction costs. So going back to page 37, you're going to want to include estimated costs for each recreation feature and major support amenity. Page 37, Sam, to the form. So here you definitely want to include estimated costs for each recreation feature and major support amenity. Ensure the estimated total project cost on this form equals the total project cost on the application form and the funding sources form. Do not include the core services as a separate line item. Instead, include it in the overall cost of the related scope item. We understand that costs can change during the course of the project. Applicants may build a contingency into the cost, but please do not list contingency costs on a separate line or as a separate line item. Limit the project to what can be completed and open to the public no later than March of 2025. In addition, do not include costs for future phases. Can you please turn to page 39 for the funding sources form, Sam? Take a quick look at that for about a couple seconds. So this form is provided to list all funding sources by name and amount. All funds to complete the total project costs as listed in the grant scope cost estimate form must be committed, with a commitment date no later than 4 months after the application due date of November 5th, 2021. This means no funds have to still be fundraised or obtained if the grant is awarded. As a reminder, match is only required if the project site area has a median household income above $56,982, according to the community fact finder. If the median household income is above $56,982, the grant can fund up to 80% of the total project cost. Match is at least no less than 20% of the total project cost. And ensure that the total project costs listed on the application form and the grant scope cost estimate form are the same. If you have any questions, please use the chat feature. And again, we get to have a 5-minute break after I say my last words here. And after we come back from break, Christine will be starting this off again. Victor, do we have any questions in the chat that you would like to talk about with the group?
No questions right now, Richard. Thank you.
Excellent. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, then Christine will be up.